Hey everybody, welcome. Hey TikTok, or YouTubers, I should say. I haven't gone on TikTok yet. I always start with you guys. Hey guys, adjusting my camera. Let's try this camera. God, this camera drives me crazy. It's on an arm, so it's always like every day is a little bit of a woo woo. All right, TikTok. Good evening, folks. Live. There we go. All right, let me get my beep. Okay. All right, 1 second here, and we are ready to start. Tag ach, what the heck does that mean, Mike? Ich spreche kein Deutsch. so there. Hang on, guys. Just getting TikTok set up here. Beep, 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 beep. Come on. Oh, we can try our duck. There we go. All right. TikTok go live. There we go. All right. We are live, baby. Hello, everybody. All right. Some chapstick on. I am happy. Slang for Guten Tag? Oh, wow. I don't think I can even. Tag ach. God only knows how to pronounce that. All right. TikTok. Reverse the camera. All right. Hello, TikTokers. Hey, Corey. Hey, YouTubers. How are we doing today? Marion, we keep discussing you the days you're not here. I was telling people about Kamchatka, and they were asking if you returned the guy's wallet. And I said, actually, I don't remember. You don't remember what you did with it? No, I'm knowing you. I'm sure you returned it once you got here. Thank you, Running. That was 1993. We didn't really have Google back then. You would have had to do. Actually, that's a good point. You probably would have had to just mail it and hope it gets there. Anyway, hey guys, welcome TikTokers. Thank you, Running, for the gift. Thank you, John. Good evening, Trash in Norway. Thank you, Russell, for the duck. Anyway, but without the money. Exactly. Exactly. It was the beginning of Marion's big, her descent into darkness. Anyway, welcome TikTokers. How you guys doing? Thank you, Russell. Thank you, everybody. So just a reminder, folks, this weekend we've got our paid shows for the, I know how to pronounce this. We've got our special shows for the paid subscribers. Saturday morning is the show for everybody who's a paid subscriber. Thank you, Jen. Sunday morning is the show for the $24.99 and up paid subscribers, a much smaller group. We do Saturday show on TikTok, Discord, and YouTube. We do Sunday show on Discord and YouTube because there are no $24.99 subscribers on TikTok. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Kronos. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Alan. So yes, so the special shows for paid subscribers are Saturday at 11 a.m. for everybody. TikTok, Discord, YouTube, and Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, Washington, D.C. time, New York City time for the $24.99 subscribers on TikTok, on Discord and YouTube. All right. Thank you, Life, for the gifts. All right, guys, I'm going to get rolling here. Exactly. Thank you. Hello to you. Exactly, Misha. So welcome, guys. So I'm John Aravosis. I do a nightly show. I've been doing it actually for 2.5 years now about the war in Ukraine. There's a little less news about the war in Ukraine these days, and there's a lot of news about the American elections. Thank you, Super Hornet. And because I am an American political expert based in Washington, D.C., I have devoted a good part of my show through the election to talking about the election. So typically what we do is we start talking about the election, and then second half of the show, we get to Ukraine. Little less Ukraine news lately, I will say. There isn't a ton of news today, but there's some. But we'll get rolling here. And finally, please keep the gifts coming. Maybe consider subscribing to my work. I do this for free. I do it full time, covering the news from my perspective, trying to give you guys sort of an insider's view on how things work here in Washington, D.C. If you can afford it and the spirit moves you, maybe buy a gift membership, or at the very least, send me a gift. Thank you, guys. All right. So Kamala Harris has officially won enough delegate votes to become the Democratic nominee for president. Thank you, Cole. This is not a surprise. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Cole. There is no other candidate running. Nobody else qualified to become a Democratic nominee. You had to basically apply and then come up with enough signatures from the various states and this kind of stuff. Nobody else qualified. Kamala Harris is the only one to qualify. Thank you, Max, for the gifts. Thank you. Who's that? Heidi as well. And they're voting as of, I think, yesterday they started voting, and they're going through Monday. She already got enough votes. She's the nominee. She won. Only one person can get enough votes. It's the way it works. So she is officially the Democratic nominee, or she she will be the nominee officially Monday, but she's already got enough now. So she's in. Thank you, running. Oh, thanks, Derek. Okay, well, I hope we agree on, actually, Ukraine, we might agree. Trump, we will not be agreeing. This is true. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Danan. Thank you, user336. So anyway, she's the nominee. She is going to be meeting with her possible vice presidential picks this weekend. Among the people she is meeting are Tim Walz of Minnesota, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Andy Beshear of Kentucky, and J.D. Pritzker of Illinois, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Having said that, I think the only real people that are in the race right now are Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Andy Beshear of Kentucky, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. We've talked about the other reasons. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Succeed. She's not picking a woman. She's not picking a gay man. She's diverse enough. They're just not going to go there. Thank you, J.A. And thank you, Computer Fuzzer. So whether she picks any of them, who knows? I've got some polls about the various vice presidents. We'll talk about that in a second. No, I think it's Shapiro, Beshear, or Kelly, basically. Thank you, Danan. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Jetta. All right. Harris. Boy, did she raise a lot of money. Thank you, Danan. So Kamala Harris announced today that in July, she raised $310 million for her campaign. In July, Donald Trump raised $137 million. She raised way more than twice, or at least more than twice what Trump raised. Currently, she has, thank you for the Dino, J.A., appreciate that. Currently, she has $377 million cash on hand. It means they spent a lot of money, but they still have $377 million of cash. And they, which is the largest ever war chest at this point in the election. So it's the largest amount of money any candidate has ever had at this point in the election. And her campaign, combined with Biden's campaign, has already raised over $1 billion. That's billion with a B. Thank you, Adventures. Thank you, Mary. And that is the fastest a presidential campaign has crossed the $1 billion mark. Now, having said that, okay, I mean, it is clearly a sign of momentum for her. It is clearly a sign of support. Having said that, especially for you guys who aren't American, it's got to be pretty creepy to hear that to run for president, you've got to raise over $1 billion. I mean, it's insane. That's just the way it is. It's insane. Now, how much did Biden, Alexa, how much did Joe Biden raise to run for president in 2020? See if you can tell us. I don't know that one. Because you're an idiot. Alexa, how much did the Joe Biden campaign raise in 2020?
Sorry, I don't know.
No. Anybody want to Google and see if you can find us? But it's billions of dollars. It's a crazy amount. Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate, but what do you do? But in any case, it's a good sign of momentum for her, which is great. Trump is still afraid to debate. Trump is still talking about not debating her, which is crazy. The money, real quick. So Frank Thomas was asking, because it's relevant for what we're talking about, what happens to the money that Biden raised? The money that Biden raised for Biden-Harris goes to Harris because she's Biden-Harris. Everything's fine. I don't think there are no issues with money at all. Basically, all the issues are done. Because she was on the ticket as Biden-Harris, that money is hers. And because quite literally, the Biden campaign changed its name to Harris for America or Harris for President. So it literally is the same fundraising people that are doing it. Thank you, Russell, for the gifts. Thank you, J.A. So Trump is still afraid to debate. He put out more statements today. Trump, you may recall, has already agreed to several debates with the Democratic nominee. He thought it was Joe Biden. He thought he was going to be a pushover. And now he's got smart black lady to debate. Trump doesn't like smart black ladies. They scare him. They make him angry. So he's trying to back out of the debate with her. He's been talking for several weeks about it. Well, I agreed to debate Joe Biden. I didn't agree to debate Kamala Harris. You agreed to debate the Democratic nominee for president because that's what we do in our country. That's like the transparency and everything else, right? That is not even, Rhino, that's not correct. No. There's no way Biden only raised 100 million last time. There's no way. Sorry, but that's not the total tally. Thank you, Blue Sky. So Trump today said, right now I say, why should I debate her? We're leading in the polls by quite a bit still. Well, okay, here's the problem. He's not leading in the polls by quite a bit. It depends which polls you look at, but the latest polls that are post-election, I should say post-Biden dropping out, thank you, Eddie, show Kamala Harris tied with Donald Trump. She's tied nationally, but more important, she is tied in the all-important swing states, the important states that can go both ways. She's tied with Trump now. The reason Trump is trying to back out of the debates is because he's terrified of her. She's doing well. Trump is not doing well. I still think they're tied, but they're tied with her on the way up and him stuck in the water. This is why Trump keeps trying to come up with crazy things to say about her, all these weird things he comes up with, like she's not really black and this kind of crazy stuff, because he doesn't know what to throw against her. What he does know is Trump got shot at, right? They tried to kill him. Trump had his convention a couple days later. It didn't help. His polls didn't go up at all. They should have gone up around 6% on average. After the convention, they didn't. 2 days before the convention, somebody tried to kill him. That should have helped his numbers a little. Maybe not a lot, but as I said before, it's not like his numbers are going to go down. Somebody tries to kill you, you get some sympathy, right? His numbers didn't go up at all. Trump is freaking out because his big chance to go up was the convention and was getting shot, frankly. It didn't work. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, her poll numbers are going up. Her approval ratings are going up. She's tied with Trump now. She hasn't even had her convention yet, and nobody tried to kill her. She hasn't had her convention yet. Her convention isn't for another 3 weeks. She can expect a bounce in the polls. Let's see if she gets one. But traditionally, you get around a 6% bounce in the polls when you hold your conventions. So this is why Trump keeps trying to drop out of the race, out of the debate. JD Vance. Oh, this was great. I'm going to pull up this tape and see if I can play it sufficiently for you guys to hear this. So another video of JD Vance, or an audio, I should say, of JD Vance came up. You might recall that previously audio came up of JD Vance saying, Donald Trump's nominee for vice president, saying that women in violent relationships should stay in those relationships. He thinks that he is skeptical that women who leave violent relationships are actually better off. He says it's not better for the kids, for mom who's getting beaten up by dad to leave the marriage. He's crazy. Like all the studies show, kids in relationships where the parents are violent, especially the man beats the wife, that kid is learning the lesson about beating your spouse. Like no one thinks it's a good idea. I forgot what the exact quote. He even suggested it was frivolous of them. That basically women, what did he compare it? He compared it to changing your underwear. People who change marriages, thank you, X-Stitch, like they change their underwear. So like, oh, I think I'll wear pink underwear today. Oh, I think I'll leave my husband because he's literally physically violent to me, right? So kind of sick. Well, the latest comments from Vance that they found are not any better. JD Vance says that we should force women to have babies as a result of incest and rape. He also, I'm going to play the quote, he also suggested that women were being frivolous who have a problem with bearing the baby of their rapist or their incest person. He called it simply, they want to get rid of their baby simply because it's inconvenient, he said. I'm going to play you the tape. You know, if you're pro-life, I've always thought actually, if you're pro-life and you think abortion is murder, then abortion's murder, right? And in principle, it shouldn't matter, I guess, if it's rape or incest. If you think it's murder, fair enough. But to suggest it's frivolous of a woman who is raped and has the rapist baby or her father rapes her, whatever, right? That the fact that that's really giving her a problem is somehow frivolous of her, that she treats it as an inconvenience, is really sick, right? So let's play his tapes. I love this. The words out of context. Oh, let's just wait, little troll. Let's just wait. Hold on a second. Hopefully I can play this. Hold on real quick.
Should a woman be forced to carry a child to term after she has been the victim of incest or rape?
But my view on this has been very clear, and I think the question betrays a certain presumption that's wrong. It's not whether a woman should be forced to bring a child to term, it's whether a child should be allowed to live, even though the circumstances of that child's birth are somehow inconvenient or a problem to the society.
Inconvenient. Now, could you guys hear that well enough on the two services on YouTube and TikTok? Okay. Inconvenient. It's all over the internet. Just Google it. Google JD Vance, rape, incest. and you'll find it, abortion. Really, really sick. Really sick. Oh, Carl, you're going to make me brag. Carl says I'm on TikTok because I couldn't make it on network TV. You might want to Google my appearances on Fox News, National Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, BBC. I've done interviews in French in France. I've done interviews in French in Morocco as well. I actually did a TV interview in Spain too, in northern Morocco. Other than that, you're right. I really can't get on national news. Honey, you gotta Google people before you make stuff up because then you look stupid. And I know Trump doesn't send us his best and brightest trolls, but in any case, Bjorn just gifted 5 memberships on YouTube. Excellent. Jen, Jillian, Atomic, Tom, Hard Puzzle, and Garrett all got memberships. That means you guys get special little emojis or something, but also it means you can join our weekend show that we do Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll do it tomorrow morning. Hey, we hang out, but it's a nice, more intimate show because it's a smaller group of us. And during the week, several times a week, I'm doing a special election show. I may even do one this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But I do a special election show during the week as well. Kind of late morning if I have time, to just thank you guys and basically give you sort of my inside view on what's going on. All right. Yay. Thank you for that, Bjorn. Thank you, Jane, for the gifts. Polling. Okay. Associated Press released some polling today on the various vice president nominees. In a nutshell, and I'm not surprised about this, Americans don't know the vice president nominees. Thank you, Robert, for the dinos. We always love that. And you're the dino guy. Americans don't yet know the Democratic vice presidential nominees, so they don't tend to know, but I'll read you a little bit here. Of the alternatives, of the possible vice presidential candidates, United States Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona is better known and liked than the alternatives. He is still unfamiliar to about half of Americans. Others, like Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, while less known nationally, could draw on a deeper well of support in their home state and regions, according to AP. Kelly and Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania, are viewed among the frontrunners, according to people familiar with the process. So basically, the insiders in Washington who are aware of what's going on are saying that Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, and Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, are the two insiders, which kind of makes sense because honestly, we've talked about this before, but generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, you pick a vice presidential candidate from a state that is very important, and he will help you. Let me rephrase this. A state that is very important, that it is not a guarantee you will win, because if it's a guarantee you'll win, then you don't need a vice president from that state, right? You don't need help in a state that you're going to win anyway. So typically it's a state where it's up for grabs, a state that's very important, that you pick the vice president from that state. That would be, well, Arizona and Pennsylvania are both hugely important, but Pennsylvania gets more electoral votes. Pennsylvania gets more points. You get a certain number of points for each state you win, and you have to have 270 points to become president. Pennsylvania has, we looked at this the other day, I think it's 19 delegates, 19 points. Arizona, I think, was 11 points. So anyway, that's part of the calculation there. A little bit more here. Of the 4 potential Democratic vice presidential candidates included in the poll, Kelly, Shapiro, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, who has dropped out. Kelly has the highest name recognition and favorability. He's a former United States astronaut. That tends to work with people. People like that. They like astronauts. So not surprisingly, he's in good shape because of that. I'm not going to go through the rest of this stuff because honestly, what it shows is the other candidates aren't known very well, even by Democrats, but they tend to be looked on favorably. In other words, nobody's heard anything, nobody's heard anything negative, but the negatives aren't really out there yet. Thank you, Brett. JD Vance. So JD Vance, Trump's weird vice presidential nominee, attacked Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. The Republicans are starting to attack Shapiro because they're getting worried he might be the one that Kamala Harris picks. So they're already starting to attack him. Listen to this. He attacked Shapiro. JD Vance did, the weird one that wants to force women to have babies from rape and stuff, and thinks women should be, stay in violent relationships. He claimed, this was his criticism, when Governor Shapiro talks, he sounds like President Obama. I mean, Barack Obama is one of the best speakers in the country. He's one of the best well-spoken presidents we've ever had. He's an incredible orator. I went to see him. I saw him at the Democratic Convention in 2004 in Boston, I think it was, give the keynote. I saw him the night before the election in 2008 when he was speaking in Virginia. We drove out there. We got stuck in traffic for like 5 hours coming home. It was horrible, but it was really fun to see Obama. Thank you, Renegade. Listen to this. So he says, it's like if I did try to do a really bad impression of Obama, that's what I would sound like. When asked to respond, Shapiro said, I don't know. Barack Obama was probably our most gifted orator of my time, so it's kind of a weird insult. He threw the weird thing back at him. This is what's so funny. Okay. So again, I don't know. Barack Obama was probably our most gifted orator of my time. So it's kind of a weird insult. Democrats have been marking Trump and all Republicans really as weird. That's the key word they've been using against Republicans. And it's starting to stick. They're using it a lot, actually, and it's starting to stick, and everyone's using it. Even a reporter, I think I heard a reporter the other day use the word, and I think they're using it just because they're hearing it. Thank you, Blue Ariel. So when he says it's a weird insult, he's just playing into the whole weird thing. Very interesting. A little bit more here. Sorry, real quick. I will say, why are you here? Says, do you think the election will be close? Right now, yes. There is a big, okay, by the way, and again, I don't know that I have a better crystal ball than anything else, but in 2016, I was living in New York. Thank you, Russell, for the gift. Please keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. I was living in New York City in 2016, and some German TV people I knew had their CEO of their company. It's one of the biggest media companies in Germany. I forget the guy's name, some initials, but probably in America, they have initials too, some initials of the company. And he wanted to meet Americans who knew U.S. politics. I was living in New York at the time for 2 years, working at the United Nations. And so we met because, again, I've lived in Washington it was three initials, in fact. I would know Deutsche Welle. It was some initials I wasn't familiar with, three initials. And a big, huge media conglomerate in Germany. He's the CEO, or whatever you call it in Germany. We get together, and he asked me, is Hillary going to win? And I said, this was literally maybe the Friday before the election, so like 5 days. Thank you. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Why are you here? Thank you, Dawn, for the gift. And he said, is she going to win? And I said, according to the polls, she is. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Dawn. I said, according to the polls, she is. I said, I've just got a bad feeling. And he said, why? I said, because her polling numbers keep going back and forth. She keeps being ahead by a crazy amount, and then she's almost tied. And then she's ahead by a crazy amount, and then she's almost tied. And I said, there's something about her support. And it was very consistently up and down. It wasn't like, oh, there's some bad polls. It was like positive, positive. And very interesting. It made me feel like Hillary Clinton's support wasn't strong enough, that people were kind of going hot and cold on her. And it's funny. I just told him, I said, I've been watching this nonstop. According to the polls, she's absolutely going to win. And I said, there's a part of me that feels very nervous and dark about something's happening. And I was right. Again, I had a 50-50 chance of being right. Doesn't make me smart, right? But with Kamala Harris, right now she's tied with Trump. Thank you, Grumpy. Biden was going to lose. Biden would have lost. Now, we're 3 months before the election, first of all, right? So as of right now, Biden would have lost the election. Harris is going up in the polls. Thank you, Mary. Harris is going up with her approval ratings. Trump is flat. That's good for Harris. Thank you, Randy. Multiple gifts there. Multiple gifts, I'm saying. It is multiple gifts. Thank you, Randy, Fred, and Hazel. Lots of gifts there. She is on her way up. That's great. The amount of money coming in is historic. That's great because it is strength for her campaign. Money's good. In American politics, money matters, sadly. It also is a sign of support, right? The more money you get, thank you, High Tide, the more money you get, the more you get Thank you, Renegade. Thank you, High Tide. I do try to thank for roses occasionally. The roses, there's a lot of them, so I can't always thank for everything. But when there's like a lull in the gifts, I do try to thank you guys for the little gifts too. Only I can't thank all of them because there's too many. But in any case, thank you, Randy. High Tide, Alisoni. So yeah, as of right now, she's tied. As of right now, Biden would have lost. As of right now, she's on the way up. As of right now, Trump is kind of flat, dead in the water, but tied. Dead in the water, but tied. There's also a new Washington Post poll that shows Trump significantly ahead of her, like 5 points ahead in most of the important states. The only reason I didn't talk about that today, I was going to tell you guys because I was going to say, oh, Vlad's here. Hey, Vlad. Actually, Vlad, let us know. Are you going to be able to join us tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. or not? You don't have to, but just like to know. Because if you're not, then we're really talking, well, we're going to talk about the U.S. elections anyway, but Vlad, our Ukrainian friend. What's going to matter going forward is what do people think of Kamala Harris? Currently, I don't think people know her, right? Her approval ratings aren't great. People don't love her. Thank you. I mean, Democrats may like her, but Republicans and people in the middle, Republicans don't like her, but they've been told a lot of bad stuff about her. Thank you, Brett. People don't know her. I don't know what her positions are on any issues. The last time she staked out a position was 5 years ago when she was running for president, and then she stopped. I don't remember what her positions are. I really don't. For the last 4 years, she's been the United States vice president. When you're vice president, you cannot give your opinion on anything. Literally, thank you, Brian. And I'm guessing this works probably in most countries. Some countries, there's like the president and the prime minister, like in I think France and certainly in Poland, for example, the president and the prime minister are different parties, that kind of stuff. Here we have a president and a vice president. The president and the vice president run together. The president picks the vice president and they run together. The vice president works for the president. They do not give an opinion on anything. Their opinion always has to be the opinion of the president. She has not given her opinion for 4 years, 5 years, because that's her job. I don't know what she believes. When Americans get to know her over the next 3, and by the way, the other issue with vice presidents is vice presidents typically are supposed to disappear. They're not supposed to upstage the president. They're not supposed to be they do events, but they're not supposed to be getting a lot of press. Typically, George Bush and Dick Cheney were unique. Bush wanted to let Cheney take the lead, and he did in many ways. Some people called Cheney the real president. I mean, he was really out there. But generally speaking, the vice president is hidden in the background because they're not supposed to take away the thunder of the president. When people get to know her over the next 3 months, when people get to know her positions, when they get to know her as a person, see her speak, will they like her? Will they dislike her? I don't know. I mean, I like her. I think she's got a good personality. I think she's smart. I think she's pretty. And by the way, we're talking politics here. All of these things matter, right? She's pretty. She's smart. She's nice. The Republicans make fun of her laugh. Even some Republicans have said, nobody ever, I don't know if this was Chris Sununu or one of the other Republicans, but basically said like, no one ever lost an election because they like to laugh, right? Like voters tend to like people who like to laugh. Like that's a good human thing. So, but I don't know. I think it's a real wild card as to whether voters, not Democrats will like her, but whether voters in the middle, the independents will see her and go, I like this woman, or see her and go, oh, she's too liberal or whatever, right? Or I don't think she could be president, right? I just don't know. But as of today, I'd say it's a tie. All right. A little bit more here. The value of Donald Trump's stake in the corporate ownership of Truth. So Donald Trump has his own kind of Ponzi scheme social media company that he makes a lot of money on, but it's weird, like with stock and stuff, but it's based on his popularity. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Brett. Once Harris became, or I should say, once Biden jumped out of the race and support for Harris rose, Trump's stake in the company, his stock dropped $800 million, which is kind of funny. 20%. Sky News. This was interesting, I thought. So as sort of the fallout from the prisoner exchange, thank you, Brett. As you know, the several Americans, several Europeans, several Russian hostages of the Russian government were released in a prisoner exchange where basically they let go of hostages and we let go of actual assassins. The Germans actually gave up literally an assassin. But Evan Gershkovich, who's the Wall Street Journal reporter who the Russians had kidnapped just because he's a reporter, said that other political prisoners are being held in Russian prisons and he was with them. He said, quote, "I just spent a month in prison in Yekaterinburg, and basically everybody I sat with is a political prisoner and nobody knows them publicly." He's suggesting, and he's a reporter with the Wall Street Journal, which is a hugely important publication, domestically, but also internationally. So what he says is truth. There's no way this guy's lying. That spending a month in this Russian prison the last month, pretty much every single prisoner he met was a political prisoner. Nobody had committed actual crimes. Nobody committed theft, right? Murder, burglary, nothing. They all were people who literally expressed their view that Vladimir Putin was a bad president, or democracy would be good in Russia, or maybe they disagreed with the war and they got thrown in jail for anywhere from 10 years to 26 years. Scary. This I thought was interesting. A family of Russian sleeper agents flown to Moscow as part of the deal were so deep undercover that their children found out they were Russian only after the flight took off. So there's a very good American TV show called The Americans. It's excellent. It ended a number of years ago. It has, I think, about a 5-year run. It's called The Americans. I don't know if anybody knows where it is. It might have been on Amazon at the time. I'm not sure. It is a wonderful show about Soviet sleeper agents. Sleeper agents are the Russians, and they still have these guys. They put families in America, in Brazil, in Europe, and they somehow put these people there and they live as locals, and everyone thinks they're locals. They must slip them into the country or something, and nobody knows they're not Americans. Even their children don't know they're not Americans. Their children think that they're all Americans and they're actually Russians. And some of the spies we had to release, some of the criminals we had to release in exchange for this were Russian deep cover agents. What did we called them? They called them, was it illegals? I believe, because we got into a little tit because somebody got upset about that. Somebody got upset that the actual official term for Russian spies that are undercover and they literally live as Americans, they're called illegals, I believe. Very interesting. Very interesting. So anyway, kind of wild. The kids didn't know. And finally, actually, last little story, and then we'll do some Ukraine stuff, is the Washington Post has a wild story out today. Like right before the in the days right before the presidential election with Donald Trump in 2016, okay? Just a couple days before the election, Trump spends $10 million of his own money in order to win the race. Last minute loan to his campaign from his own money. Fast forward 3 months. 5 days, I believe it was 5, before Trump is sworn in as president. In America, you win the presidency early November, and then you're sworn in as president January 20th. It's almost 2.5 months. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Ryan. So a couple days before the election, Trump loans his own campaign with his own money, $10 million, as a last push to win the election. 2.5 months later, it's a couple days before his inauguration, Trump's inauguration, Egyptian intelligence orders a bank in Egypt to withdraw $10 million in cash. U.S. intelligence intercepts a message that the Egyptian president, Sisi, dictator general president, wants to give Trump $10 million to help him with the election, or wanted to, I should say, give Trump $10 million to help him with the election. So we've got intelligence that the Egyptian president wanted to give Trump $10 million before the election to help him with the election. That would be highly illegal. Foreigners can't spend money. Campaigns can't knowingly accept the money. It would be so illegal, it's not even funny. Trump then spends $10 million of his own money at the same time. 2.5 months later, the Egyptian intelligence agencies withdraw $10 million in cash. Typically, when you withdraw cash, if you're withdrawing $10 million in cash, you're committing a crime. I mean, there ain't nothing else you're withdrawing cash for. I mean, I refuse to believe they weren't buying a house, right? It gets better. The FBI starts investigating. What happens? Donald Trump's Justice Department pretty much orders the FBI to stand down. First, they killed some subpoenas the FBI needed to prove that there was a connection to Trump. Donald Trump's political appointees killed the subpoenas, search warrants. And then Bill Barr, who was Donald Trump's attorney general, the head of the Department of Justice, killed the entire probe. It disappeared. This is, I would say this isn't even a campaign finance issue. Says nobody enforces campaign finance law. This is way beyond a campaign finance law. This is way beyond, you didn't submit the right form to identify your loans for the election, right? This is not an accounting code violation. This is an allegation that Donald Trump used money from a foreign government to win the election. That is so illegal, it's not even funny. It's also so despicable because up until Trump became president, it was considered like treason for an American political candidate to turn to a foreign country and say, hey, give me some money and help me win this election. Trump did it in 2016. He literally said in a press conference, Russia, if you're listening, I want you to get Hillary Clinton's information. Russia was listening and they got Hillary Clinton's information. The Russians then contacted Trump privately and said, we are representing the Russian government. We want to help you win the election. The memo goes to Donald Trump's son. Thank you, Warren, for the gift. The memo goes to Donald Trump's son. Donald Trump types in a response. He released the emails. They're public. Donald Trump's son, Don Jr., responds to the Russian government request to interfere in the U.S. election on behalf of Donald Trump in 2016, responds, quote, I love it, exclamation point. You can Google this. Democrats being idiots don't ever talk about this. Donald Trump Jr. released the emails himself. I don't know why he thought this wasn't a problem, but he released the emails himself. This was a huge crime. It's disgusting. And at some point, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Bryce. At some point, but it'll never happen, Republicans need to take some responsibility for themselves. How many crimes does this guy have to be caught committing? Right? They like to pretend, oh, Biden's committed a lot of crimes too. No, he hasn't. And he hasn't because Republican members of Congress literally stopped impeaching. They were going to impeach Biden and remove him from office. They decided not to because they admitted they didn't have the evidence. They had no evidence. Remember the whole Biden's a criminal thing it's all based on this lie about Ukraine. Oh, we influenced the Ukrainian government and took money. The guy who made the allegation is now in prison. He lied to the FBI about the entire thing and got arrested. How many things does Donald Trump need to do? How many criminal acts? How much money does he have to steal? How much money does he have to take? How many bribes does he have to accept? How much classified information does he have to steal and then refuse to return, right? How many times does he have to suck up to America's enemies and do Vladimir Putin's bidding? How many times does he have to praise the North Korean dictator who's the biggest murderer on the planet, the worst dictatorship on the planet? Honestly, Republicans will never turn on him. And it's unfortunate because, thank you for the gift there, Janice, because the Republican Party has lost really any sense of what it was. It was the party of nationalism. It was the party of pride and country. It was the party of patriotism. It was the party of our troops, right? They defended our troops. Now the Republican Party calls our troops suckers and losers, is what Donald Trump called American soldiers who got killed in action and were prisoners of war. He called them suckers and losers. Trump's own chief of staff at the White House said this. He wrote a book and said this. A Marine Corps general, a Republican Marine Corps general who Trump picked to be chief of staff, said that Trump called our troops suckers and losers. Trump didn't want a disabled soldier. I think it was a military parade they were having or something. And Trump saw one of the soldiers they were going to have in the event. And he was an American soldier who was wounded in action, and whether he had his legs or his arms, amputated. Trump told him to get rid of him because it grossed him out. He said, the quote literally was, no one wants to see that. No one who's a traitor wants to see that. Most Americans would look at that and be incredibly proud of that person who literally gave their limbs for their country, right? Any case, it just sickens me because it was his legs. Okay, thank you. It was his legs, says Stantham. It's really sick. Thank you, Brett. It's just really sick. It's really sick. He's a sick man. And honestly, the Republican Party, like I used to be a Republican, by the way, years ago. I voted for Ronald Reagan. I don't admit that much. I'm always afraid people are going to get pissed at me. I voted for Ronald Reagan. He was my first vote for president. You know, this is not the party of Reagan. Let's just put it that way. All right, Ukraine. Let's do a little bit of Ukraine here. Friday, August 2nd. This is day 889 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation. Ukraine's top military intelligence official, General Budanov, says that the Ukrainians are looking at possibly blowing up the Kerch Bridge, the Crimean Bridge, sometime in the next few months. Now, that's the all-important bridge connecting southern Ukraine to Russia, connecting the Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine to Russia. Hugely important for resupplying the Russian troops in the occupied lands in the south of Ukraine. And I will say this. Maybe they are, maybe they're not looking to blow up the bridge. Generally speaking, if you were looking to blow up the bridge, you probably wouldn't tell anybody, right? You probably weren't telling anybody. But the Ukrainians want the Russians to be worried about it. So they're playing some kind of psychological game. I'm not sure what it is, but I just thought it was interesting. The Telegraph, the British paper, reports that a £12 million or $15 million Russian helicopter was destroyed by a small Ukrainian drone deep inside Kremlin-held territory. This comes from both Russian and Ukrainian sources. Wednesday's attack on the Mi-8 helicopter close to the Russian-occupied city of Donetsk potentially marks the first time a Ukrainian drone has taken down a military helicopter mid-flight. The attack was around 30 miles from the front line. Unprecedented distance for such a strike, according to reports. An explosive carrying drone rammed the helicopter as it was taking off, causing it to crash and burn. A prominent Russian blogger said, sharing photos and videos of the incident. A Russian Telegram channel with ties to the country's Air Force wrote that the entire crew died. Pretty wild, though. I mean, imagine being that Ukrainian drone operator and you see a helicopter taking off and you're like, I'm going for it. Taking down a Russian military helicopter with a drone. Damn. And finally, the Mali rebels say that they killed 84 Wagner mercenaries during recent battles. You had heard that the rebels in Mali, the last report was we knew they killed around 80 of the Wagner mercenary guys who are basically working as soldiers for hire in Africa. And the Mali rebels, who are not necessarily good people. I mean, like some of them are Al-Qaeda. They're not necessarily good people. But they basically surprised the Russians and killed 84 of them. Huge. And of course, the Wagner guys are war criminals. So nobody sheds a tear for them. And they're Russian military. Nobody sheds a tear for them. But still, 84. It's like, damn. All right. That is it for the news. Let's hang out and talk. I'm going to turn my temperature up. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. There we go. Hopefully she heard me. Oh, she's so bad sometimes. Alexa, raise the thermostat 1 degree.
The AC is set to 76.
Thank you. All right. Anyway, your Wagner patch. I have a number of Wagner patches, but I kind of kept them for now. I framed them. I could have auctioned them. I have tried to auction off a lot of stuff. Callum always accuses me of not auctioning off enough stuff, but sorry, Tim. Thank you, Louise. Thank you, PC Null. But I do have. I may even have. I'm trying to think if I have. I may have 20 Wagner patches, which is pretty wild. Again, you know. Oh, I do. Do I say it too quickly for peace? Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Oh. Anyway, ooh la la. I don't have 2076. I have 20. But I like them, and they're, kind of from the war. They're very interesting too. I kept sort of there's a number of special forces. They're kind of cool. And they're used and dirty, which is kind of neat too. Yes, I love this shirt. Thank you, Sarah. They're used and dirty, which I like because they're actually used patches, which is kind of neat. Who knows? Anyway. My heat is at 76. Yes, but every house is different. My house is actually cold at 76. Not my heat. My air conditioning is at 76. But it's actually a little cold here at 76. Russia is talking about tactical nuclear weapons again, Chris says. And Chris, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, of course we care, but we really don't. What Russia's doing is threatening nuclear war. Nobody cares. Like, I own PC. Nobody cares. We have nukes. Russia has nukes. France has nukes. Britain has nukes. Russia's not using their nukes because we'll use our nukes. The Russians like to scare, and unfortunately it does scare people. I think it even scared Biden, to be honest. But I'm not scared of the Russians. If they nuke us, we'll nuke them back. And I hope that doesn't happen, but it will if they do it. And Putin's gotten a little too brave in terms of the crap he does. And somebody needs to finally stand up to him. We do know, actually, Autumn, all of that's listed in the paper. You can Google it. What America, it wasn't just Americans, which hostages the Russians released and which prisoners the Russians got back and from which countries they're from and everything else. It's all public. Just Google it. It's too complicated. There's like several Americans, a British Russian guy, several other Russian dissidents. I think I don't even remember who else. It's a whole mix of people. I mean, several Americans too. We know the Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty woman, who I think is American and Russian. The ballerina. Did we hear about the ballerina? She must have gotten released. Oh, the ballerina did get released, I think. Right? Help me out here, guys. Didn't the ballerina get released? I think they did. Yeah. I mean, she's an idiot. Last Christmas, her boyfriend bought her a train ticket to Russia to visit her family. And I think she was initially worried about going. And he told her, "Oh, it'll be safe." And she said, "Okay." And she went. And of course, the Russians kidnapped her. Big surprise, right? Big surprise. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Anyway. Oh, Russia got bad people. They got an assassin from Germany. The Germans were nice enough to release them, but we asked. But the Russians got an assassin among other people. They got terrible people. Terrible people. YouTube super chats, yes, but I haven't had any. The only one I had was earlier, which I don't even think there was a super chat. Maybe there was. Oh, sorry, Douglas. Oops. Sorry, Douglas. There was one. What's best, a close or one-sided election? Well, it depends. I mean, it depends what you mean by that. I mean, it's better for our democracy overall. Okay. If Trump loses, it's better that it be a big loss for a variety of reasons. It makes it harder for him to try to overthrow the government again, which he did last time. He tried last time. It makes it harder for him to keep lying. It makes it harder for him to steal it. Because if he loses by millions of votes or a high electoral count, even he can't cheat in enough states to steal the election. So it's important to be big for that reason. On the Democratic side, if Democrats lose, I would say it's important to be close. Thank you, Mustard. Thank you, Addie, for the gift. Because I think, giving Donald Trump a mandate for being kind of a fascist and a racist, sexist, whatever, is not exactly good, right? Our American election, even if the guy were to win, American election should show that it's not like people loved him, right? But yeah, I don't know. So I don't see. Well, of course, this would be my opinion anyway because I think he has to lose. So I think it should be big, but it does make it harder for him to steal. Yep. Thank you, CW, for the gift there. We definitely have a chance with Kamala Harris. Absolutely. No. Trump. Biden was losing. Harris is pretty much tied. We'll see what happens in the next few months. Russia's going to weigh in. China's going to probably weigh in. They all want Trump to win. Certainly Russia wants Trump to win. Putin already said it. Anyway. Which did not get released? The ballet dancer? I thought they did. F-16s are in country. Yep, the Ukrainians. Thank you, Chazak, for the happy Friday. The Ukrainians did receive 6 F-16s this week. We were very happy about that. So that's good. What else, guys? La la la. La la la. Well, that's the thing, Circle. Circle of Life asked a good question. Why would Putin help the Democrats with the hostage trade? It absolutely helps Biden. Thank you, Shane. It absolutely helps Biden. Trump is pissed, of course. Republicans are trying to say it's because he knew Trump was coming and he'd get a bad deal with Donald Trump. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Are you kidding? Putin knows Donald Trump works for him. Again, I don't need to go through the litany of this. Trump is infatuated with Vladimir Putin, or Putin has bribed him, or Putin is blackmailing him, or Trump wants something from Putin personally, like a new hotel in Moscow. Whatever it is, Trump works for Putin. Putin knows Trump's going to end the war in Ukraine. Putin's dying to have Trump come to office. Trump is literally going to end the war in Ukraine for nothing, right? Just to give Putin what Putin wants. What some people are saying is, David Frum said this, that Putin is worried that Kamala Harris is coming into office, that Kamala Harris is going to win. And he thinks he could either reach a deal with Biden or he could reach a deal with Harris. If he reaches it with Harris, he thinks it's going to be tougher. Part of the reason it would be tougher, now David did not say this, but this is my thinking. Part of the reason it would be tougher is exactly what you just said. This looks really good for Biden getting this deal. And Kamala Harris was part of the negotiations as well. She worked on it too. It makes them look really good. It helps them in the election. So from even if that's not his motivation, from President Biden's perspective, if the Russians come to you and say, we could reach a deal now, 3 months before the election, or we could reach a deal later when it won't impact the election, which would you prefer? Well, I would prefer a deal that impacts the election rather than one that's after the election, right? Because it hurts Trump. So even though I don't think Biden would use that to influence his calculation overall, Putin coming to Biden, Biden's going to go, Biden's going to say, this is great. We get the people. This is great for democracy. It's great for them. And if the deal is reached 3 months before or right before the election, that's a lot better than the deal being reached after the election. So from Putin's perspective, he may have thought he could get a better deal this way. And again, he may have thought Kamala Harris is coming and didn't think he was going to do very well with Kamala Harris, So, Grubly, I can't tell if you're being a troll or what you're being. Mods, keep an eye on that person. Yeah, exactly. Oh, they are being a troll. Just get rid of them. Yeah. I am intrigued that you follow my wardrobe so closely. Is there something you'd like to tell us that you're so into watching other men's clothes? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Who did not get released? Wow. Okay, so Alexandra says the nightly news highlighted the ballerina from Los Angeles as one of the people who did not get released. Interesting. Wow. That's very interesting. Wow. So, well, yeah, you think you're funny. Bye. Bye. Well, that's very interesting. Yes, that was for that goofball, for that weird person. We all got to start using the word weird. Thank you, wheelchair. What else, guys? What else? I'm tired. My dog kind of keeps waking me up, and she keeps waking me up early in the morning, and I'm just kind of like doing a little better, but my God, she keeps waking up early. I'm giving her a little more food now. Hopefully she doesn't gain weight, because she had gained weight. Now she's lost weight. So I'm trying to up her food intake, but Jesus, I don't know. We don't know what's up with Iran. I mean, Iran and the Israelis have never really liked each other, to put it lightly. The Israelis recently killed, they killed a top Hamas official, terrorist group in Iran. The Iranians were not thrilled about that. Well, we think the Israelis did it. Nobody knows, I think. We think the Israelis did it. The Iranians are not thrilled about that. The problem is, for Iran, Israel's got one hell of a military, and Israel's got nuclear weapons. I don't think Israel's going to use its nukes, but when push comes to shove, they got nukes. So if you're Iran, you might want to be careful. Now, Iran is trying to get nukes too, and they could have nukes soon as well. Nonetheless, if Iran ever uses those nukes on Israel, Iran's going to cease to exist as a country, because Israel will wipe it from the map. So, we shall see. 1.6 billion. Is that how much Biden raised last time? That would make more sense. That would make, just judging by the news stories saying this is the earliest $1 billion was raised, means he must have raised $1 billion last time. What else? Beep, 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 beep. Oh, I'm going to yawn at you guys. Remember tomorrow? Oh, excuse me. Tomorrow we've got the tomorrow morning show for all the paid subscribers. It was 1.6 billion. Okay, in 2020. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Frank. Frank. His name is Frank N. Stein. Frank. The remember tomorrow morning we've got our show for paid subscribers. So anybody with SNN next to their name on TikTok who either paid or you might have gotten it as a gift for a month. Anybody whose name is green on YouTube or anybody who subscribed elsewhere, join us on Discord, TikTok, or YouTube, depending where your subscription is. And I will be doing the show at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So if you can. Tomorrow morning is America. Oh, tomorrow morning is USA versus Japan. Okay, sorry. And then Sunday, I'm doing the show for the the high rolling donors, the people who are paying $24.99 a month and up. I'll be doing my hangout on YouTube and TikTok because there isn't that category on, not TikTok because TikTok doesn't have that category, on YouTube and Discord. So at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, US. So, yeah, no, I know we spend too much money. Thank you, Eric, for subscribing. I am well. Wheelchair. Thank you. I'm just tired tonight. Like I said, I think it's like, I need the dog to stop waking me up. Russell gifted the sub. Oh, nice. Thank you, Russell. Appreciate that. What else, guys? What else? Israel, we'll see. I mean, honestly, Israel, I might cover as a private chat. As I said, I just, over the years, have learned that you can't talk about them. People are idiots when they talk about the Middle East. It's just not worth it. I mean, literally 24 years ago, I came to that conclusion. People are just idiots when they talk about the Middle East. It's just, and by the way, never going to solve your problem that way if people don't want to talk about it, but there's just no point in talking about it. People just, and not my, I can go on Fox News if I want to debate things like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, still very nice of you, Russell. Even if you're no blue Ariel, we don't measure your worth or your our thanks in dollars. We still appreciate it nonetheless. The F-16s are there. Oh yeah, they're confirmed. There were rumors of sightings that I don't know, but the F-16s are there. 6 F-16s are there. But we don't know whether there are whether they've flown yet. There was a picture the other day showing what they claimed was an F-16 flying over Lviv, Western Ukraine, but I saw nothing definitive saying that. So we don't really know, we just don't know if it's true. So it might be, beep, 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 beep. What else? Young JD Vance and Oprah screaming Bible verses. Oh, was this back when he was like trying to pretend he was a hillbilly or whatever? Maybe. Well, good luck understanding the Middle East anyway. I mean, it's like a conflict that in some ways goes back thousands of years. Or certainly the history going back thousands of years matters. And the history of the last 100 years is just a disaster. Oh, he was a boy. That's funny. Huh. Well, I'm sure he was a scammer back then too. So no reason to believe it was, if it's real. What do you mean, Ray? Why would any of these countries use nukes on their enemy if they're so close? Oh, wouldn't it affect them? Maybe. It depends which way the wind blows, I guess. I mean, for example, hitting Iran might not be a problem. Going and hitting back, the air coming back to Israel. Hitting Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, that could affect Israel. Yeah. So, there are bigger issues with using nukes in that once you start using nuclear weapons, you could have unholy hell come down on you from every country in the world, including the U.S. Thank you, Randy, for the gifts. Terry, I don't know what you're talking about. The video showed the Ukrainian Capitol building. Oh, the video with the F-16. Okay, I see what you mean. Except they claimed it was Lviv, the one I saw. I didn't see a video. I saw a photo. So, again, I'd want to know who it was from. Why do I take sides? I take the side I take the side of America, A, and I take the side of democracy, B. I also take the side of decency, morality, and ethics, period. So if you think that means I'm not taking the side of Republicans, then you have to ask yourself why it is Republicans aren't on the side of America, patriotism, morality, ethics, and decency. So, good Americans, good human beings don't sit back and let evil happen and not speak out. Just because you speak out about evil doesn't mean you're biased. I think it makes you a good human being. And I've always felt that way. I've done activism for, God knows, 3 decades at least. Hell, 5 decades, going back to when my aunts died in my ant farm. And I wrote a nasty letter to Uncle Milton's ant farm because I was so pissed off. Thank you, Russell. So yeah, no, it is everyone's responsibility to speak out in the face of evil. Period. Thank you, Moses. Moses. That could be your real name, though. Although in English, we don't really, I'm going to guess that's not your real name in English. In English, do we actually have people named Moses in English? I've seen the name in Spanish. Was it Moises? I don't know that I've seen it in other languages. I've seen it in Spanish. But in English, do we actually, Moshe? Is Moshe, that's Hebrew. I didn't know Moshe was Moses. Moses Malone. Oh, there's a name. That's true. Thank you, Russell. In the UK, yes. Interesting. I know the ant farm thing was funny. Moses. That's so funny. It's a black name here. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a black, maybe, and that's maybe why I'm not as familiar with it, since I tend not to live in the black community. America's still kind of segregated. That's your real name, Moses. That's so funny. Wow. It's a cool name, but like I said, I'm used to, in Spanish, you hear it a lot, Moises. Of course, in Spanish, you also hear Jesus, which is funny. Jesus, which we don't do that here. It's a popular African name. Interesting. Oh, in Africa too. Not just African American. You mean in Africa, it's a common name. Well, I'm guessing the sort of the religious conversion thing in Africa. That's interesting. Yeah, because here, again, black community, I guess. There you go. That's really interesting. Huh. I've never met a Moses. Because I would have said Moses. Huh. It's just an interesting, like I said, it's like meeting Latinos who are Jesus. And again, I'm kind of used to Jesus, so I don't really think Jesus. Except that Latinos named Jesus has got to be weird in the US because people look and go, Jesus? It's like naming yourself God. It's just funny. Grandma Moses. That was a name, but I don't remember what the story was behind that though. Muhammad Ali. Hold on. Sasha wants a little water. One moment. One moment. All right, dog. Up. Actually, very funny. A French friend of mine back on September 11th, 2001, so 9/11, he was dating a North African guy in Paris named Osama. And he said it was very uncomfortable. It was like Osama. Because I'd never heard the name Osama before. You don't really hear it since. Like I've never heard Osama very much in English at least here. But his name was Osama. I remember laughing. He said, oh yeah, his name was Osama. It was very difficult. I was like, I can imagine. It's like, oh, well, that's like the mustache too. My grandfather in the 1940s, everyone had that little mustache. It was normal back then. My grandfather, it looked good on him, I guess. No one's done that mustache since, unless they're Nazis, Yeah, Usama I've seen. Yeah. But Arabic name, it makes sense if he was from North Africa. Yeah, well, France. So he was probably, Algerian or Moroccan, since a lot of those nationals in France. The Charlie Chaplin. I forgot. Charlie Chaplin did have that mustache. Yeah, the little. Maybe it was a 1930s, probably a 1930s mustache. I'm going to guess. Yeah. Yep. Mo from the Three Stooges was Moses. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting. Oh, and I didn't think of that. That's true. Charlie Chaplin could have been the one that made the mustache popular. Didn't even think of that. No, because he's got a really cute picture of him with the mustache. And it's just kind of a funny, I guess, again, I'm guessing late 1930s, probably. It's a great picture. So Three Stooges I never liked. Yeah. Yep. Never liked that. My brothers and sisters, I liked Abbott and Costello. That's the humor I liked. I loved watching Groucho too, but Abbott and Costello, but the Three Stooges, they annoyed me. Absolutely annoyed me. You know? Algeria versus Italy fight. Oh, I know. The problem is I know nothing about it. I don't know anything about it. And, you know, Republicans are trying to make political hay of it, which just makes it, again, like not even worth weighing in. You know what I mean? Because, like, I never loved Seinfeld. No, I didn't love Seinfeld. Monty Python I loved, as we call it in America, Monty Python, because the snake is Python here. But Monty Python was fabulous, of course. And the movies, and oh my God. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. That's right. That's right, Frank. Charlie Chan made the movie The Dictator mocking Hitler. Yep. What U.S. airport is named after Muhammad Ali? Gunther asks. I don't know. Wherever Muhammad Ali's from. Where is he from? Friends. I loved Friends. Never watched The Office. I know I'm supposed to give The Office a chance. I never did. Thank you, user 336 and Moses for the gifts. Like I never gave The Office a chance. Everybody loves it. But Friends, I really enjoyed every Friends episode. I just enjoy. Like I don't watch it regularly, but when I do watch it, I just enjoy it. Like there's never a Friends episode where I'm like, okay, this one's kind of boring. It's just always funny. Phoebe's my favorite, of course. I just think she's a brilliant comedian. Weird woman, but brilliant comedian. Thank you, Derek. Right. At least from Louisville. So I'm going to guess it's the Louisville airport, maybe. All in the Family, I never enjoyed really. You know, I think my family liked watching it. I didn't find it. First of all, there was always something. I didn't like Rob Reiner's character. I didn't like Sally Struthers' character. I didn't find Archie funny. I found what's her face, Jean Stapleton, Edith, the wife, annoying. So like, I just found the show annoying, and I didn't find it funny. You know. So now I still know everyone knows the lyrics to Smelly Cat. Well, I used to know Smelly Cat, was it where are you going? Smelly Cat, it's not your fault or something like that. But yeah, soap I enjoyed ish. MASH was fabulous, of course. Thank you, Lindu, for the gifts. Big Bang Theory, I never gave a chance. I kind of like put it on and I went, I just didn't really like it. You know, you're not getting a UN story. Schitt's Creek to die for. Hold on. I'm lowering my thermostat. Get ready, people. Alexa, lower the thermostat 1 degree. Okay. You were right. Whoever said I wasn't pausing enough. That worked. But Schitt's Creek, there are certain shows that I look at the previews and I just think it looks stupid. Schitt's Creek just looks stupid to me, and I thought the name was stupid. One of the funniest freaking comedies out there. One of the funniest comedies out there. Oh my God. I just amazing. Third Rock, I didn't love. Northern Exposure, I liked it at the time. I tried watching it again. Thank you, Moses. I tried watching it again, and sorry, Denise, and got bored. It was boring. Loki, I couldn't. I watched a couple episodes, and I was getting bored to death of Loki, so I gave up on that too. But all the characters on Schitt's Creek are fabulous. Moira, I mean, my God, that woman is a goddess. You know, absolute goddess. The original Office, no, I don't know it. Absolute goddess, right? Is your father gay? I don't know, King. Is he? I guess only you would know that, or his boyfriend. Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe, had family in Poland. Oh, that's interesting. Schitt's Creek is really one of the funniest damn things. American Horror Story, I liked several episodes, several seasons, and then I sort of stopped. I got creeped out by the circus one. Veep is absolutely to die for. Everyone should watch Veep. Heartland, I don't know. Ally McBeal, loved at the time. Tried watching it again. It was okay. Scrubs, I've never given a chance. I did finally give Mad About You to Die For. Wonderful series. I did finally give the lawyer show from 10 years ago or 15 years ago a chance that has what's-her-face, Meghan Markle in. It's really good. What's it called? One word name. Suits. It's really good. But the name was stupid. The preview ad I thought looked weird. It's funny how just the little preview, the two of those guys walking, I went, I don't like this show. It was really good, really good. Like West Wing is one of my all-time favorites. Some people find West Wing too melodramatic or whatever. It's just wonderful. Good Wife, very good. 6 Feet Under, I finally watched again and enjoyed it. When I first watched it, I got bored. I got through the second time, I really liked it. Madam President, I got bored. And honestly, well, whatever. I found some of the characters a bit annoying, but I mean, like, I don't know what she did. The Latino actress, I don't know what the hell happened to her. I loved her in Grey's Anatomy, but I got bored. I felt like it kind of just went weird or something. I'm still watching Grimm. House is excellent. Thank you, Danon. Thank you, Frankie. Yeah, I've got to give The Office a chance though. 24, I thought was fabulous. I love 24. Veep is not accurate, but it started getting more accurate under Trump. It's not accurate, but there were a lot of things that happened under Trump that basically were Veep episodes, so very weird. Outlander, I enjoyed Outlander. I kind of got bored after 5 years into it, but I liked Outlander a lot. Sanctuary, I did not like with Amanda Tapper or whatever, or tapping, whatever. I didn't like that. I love her. I didn't like it. Genocide. I don't know a TV show called Genocide. I don't know. Is your mom in it? Are we going to have to ban another keyword? Don't make me ban the keyword. Don't make me, but I think we're gonna. You know what? I think for a while we will, just for fun. House of Dragon, I so tried House of Dragon, and I could not get into it. I watched that first year's show and absolutely was bored to death. It just, I mean, I just found it incredibly boring. It dragged on. I didn't like any of the characters, and I think that's a negative. Like literally there was no redeeming character in the entire show. I thought the writing was bad. I thought the first part of the show when she was young was fabulous. She was an amazing actress, the young girl. And then they brought this old woman who had nothing to do with the young girl. Oh, hey, Scott. Thank you for that. The older actress playing the, who young girl grows up, literally nothing to do with the younger one. Her personality made no sense. She suddenly, as a young girl, she's vivacious and fun and funny and smart. As an older woman, she comes across not that intelligent, really boring. I mean, literally like personality transplant. And you don't know why. She's boring. I like what's his face, not in that role. I think he's horrible. The one that's her love interest, whatever, the uncle, whatever. I hated that show. Absolutely hated that show. And it made me upset because I loved Game of Thrones. I tried Lucifer. I got bored. Oh, interesting. Well, maybe I'll give it another try. I don't know. I mean, I don't subscribe anymore, but The 100 I ended up enjoying. Thank you, Moses. I ended up enjoying The 100. Witcher, I love. NCIS is great. I've watched a lot of the Viking shows. They're very good. The Vikings and a number of those shows, really good. Really good, actually, I will say. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Charmed, the original Charmed is to die for. The second one sucks. Kolchak was pretty great. A little silly now in retrospect when I try to watch it again, but I do love the show. Thank you, Moses. Valhalla, Vikings of Valhalla, whatever, is very good. There's one that's called The Vikings, I think. And then there's the one with, what's his face, who's maybe not a fictional character. I think he existed, but right. The one with the guy, the main guy, and like his, the actor, what's his name? We're talking the Viking shows. I'm totally forgetting the names now. Anyway, but anyway, I did not like, I didn't like Bridgerton. Bridgerton annoyed me. I was like, I don't need to see guys' asses and people getting blowjobs and having, I just like that. When shows do that, I get pissed off because I feel like, okay, now you're playing games with me. Like, oh, let's show the woman's boobs. Like, you know what? And again, maybe I'm judging too quickly, but as soon as TV shows start to do that, I go, okay, you're cheap. And that's what you are. I found Bridgerton cheap. Like I said, why do I have to see this guy fucking some woman against a tree and looking at his ass? I'm like, okay, great. Like, no, I mean, I'm sure it was lovely, but like, really? Like, why do I want to see that on a TV show? And my God, Scandal, like season 2 started with her receiving oral sex on a beach. I was blown away at how inappropriate that was. And again, they're trying to get teenage boys, basically, and some teenage girls, but they're trying to get teenage boys to watch. It's just, I find that disgusting. Thank you, C. Murph, for the gifts. Yeah, I mean, again, it's, if you're just into it sexually, that's the reason they're doing it. They're trying to get teenage boys to watch by having gratuitous sex. As somebody watching a show for the substance, I'm kind of offended by that, because I'm like, really? You're going to show her having, I mean, also it's disgusting. Like, I don't want to, I mean, it's kind of like your parents having sex, right? Like, why do I need to be thinking of that lead woman on Scandal who's like a powerful African-American woman? She's one of the most important people in politics in DC. And I've got to think about her having oral sex. Like, to me, it almost degrades the story that you're trying to build up of her, because now she's just a cheap sex object, you know? True Blood, excellent, kind of wanes as it goes on, you know? The new Rings of Power is coming out at the end of August. I'm very excited about that. Of course, it is exactly Hollywood and women. That's exactly what it is, Danon. Yep. You know, Roman Emperors. Which one was that? I don't know. Actually, you know what was really good was Rome. Rome is an excellent show, excellent series, and it finally got canceled because Cinecittà or whatever in Rome burned down. They couldn't do anymore. They literally the studio burned down. Amazing. I am a huge Star Trek fan. The Kid Dre, huge. Never watched Breaking Bad, so I don't know. Rome was amazing. Oh my God, so well done. Handmaid's Tale, I enjoy enough to keep going. I thought it was very good the first year or two. Now I watch it and I kind of go, okay, come on, right? There's a little, Expanse, I didn't give a chance. The first year I hated it. I got confused. There was too much going on. And then I watched it again a few years ago, and it was excellent. But at first it confused me. It confused me a little. Rome had to be expensive. Yeah. Rome is amazing. So even the one, I mean, they've got a couple of years of it maybe out. It's still just amazingly, oh my God. Amazing. Resident Alien, I did start watching Resident Alien at your guys' suggestion. I enjoyed it, but I started getting bored. Maybe season 2 or something. I started getting bored and I stopped. But I was enjoying it up until then. The baby is running around the house and stuff during some birthday party, and I kind of went, okay, enough. I don't want to say any more in case anybody watches it, but I was like, okay, no more. Star Wars, yes. I don't know that any of them have any new episodes. I watched, Baby Grogu is good enough. What's the show? The Mandalorian. It's good enough. I wouldn't give it an A. I'd give it a B, but it's good enough. I watched the other one spinoff of the guy with the A in his name, starts with an A, which is also the name of the show, I think. There might've been 1 year. It was very good. Not the Acolyte. It's not that. It's not the woman. Maybe they're all A. What's the guy? The one with the guy who's like the lead character. Andor. Thank you, Andor. Oh, hey, Kook. I'm never going to pronounce your name correctly, but welcome. Nice to see somebody from Vietnam here. Andor. Andor was very good as well. I thought Mandalorian was very good. Andor was very good. I don't remember if I've watched anything else. Interview with the Vampire I didn't love. No. Firefly, fabulous, of course. Should have done more of that. Andor's coming with season 2. That's good. I haven't given the one with the woman, Ahsoka or whatever, but is it good? I thought I heard it was good, or no. Danon saying didn't finish, so maybe not. Pretty good. Okay. Yeah. What else? Peaky Blinders, I haven't seen. I know that's supposed to be good. That's supposed to be very good. Good for you guys to write down these things, actually, because these are a number of really good TV shows. Rebels first, then Ahsoka. I don't even know about Rebels. Interesting. I'll have to look this up. I don't even know about that. Spin City, God, that's old. I vaguely remember it. Of course, I've watched The Godfathers. Yes. Boston Legal, never really gave it a chance. I actually didn't finish watching whatchamacallit, which I need to. Succession. I never saw the final year because I wasn't subscribing anymore. I guess can I buy the final year somewhere without subscribing? Or I guess I could subscribe for a month. It's probably cheaper than buying the final year. Game of Thrones, I loved. I've already watched it twice. Boardwalk Empire, I know of, but I've never watched. Mad Men is supposed to be very good, and I've not watched it. I have not given the animated shows a chance yet. I know the Lower Decks, I tried watching. It being a cartoon made it very hard for me. But I keep trying, but it just, like I said, made it a little hard. I do like Succession, but Succession's another one where it is very like, oh my God, they all suck, you know? Demon Slayer, I do not know. Nope. House of Cards was good, but it also got silly. The last year was terrible. Without him, the last year sucked. It really did. Understandable, but the last year just sucked. You know? Orville, I tried. I couldn't get into it. People say it's very good. Stargate SG-1, one of the best shows on the planet ever. Absolutely. Shahar, no question asked on that one. Chicago PD, I haven't tried. I did try the hospital one that I was enjoying. You know, there's like a series of them, like a hospital, Chicago, like a hospital, Chicago PD and Chicago Fire or something. Maybe Chicago Medical. What was it called? I don't remember. The medical one was good. Chicago Med, I guess it would be figures. Yeah. It was good though. Grey's Anatomy, I loved. You know, I stopped after 12 or 13 years or whatever, but I loved Grey's Anatomy. The Grey's Anatomy got me through the UN. I'd come home at night and watch Grey's Anatomy. I was like, yes. Love that show. I don't know what you mean by what's Yellowstone. I don't even know. Voyager is good. Yep. What's Yellowstone? I mean, as TV shows go, I mean, I know what Yellowstone is, but I did not hear of it as a TV show. Is it? Oh, sorry, guys. Oh. Of course, I'm freezing again, but I don't want to keep changing my temperature on you all. The dog's looking for more water. This could be our sign, guys. Actually, it is an hour and 25 minutes. You know what? I think I'm going to call it quits. We've been going an hour and 25. The last 25 have been TV shows, but we do like to do that, so why not? Married with Kids, I did not like. That's another show. It was kind of mean-ish. Something was weird about it. I tried watching, but I got kind of like, Anyway, Downton Abbey. I love Downton Abbey. Yep, loved it. Anyway, guys, all right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the gifts. I will be back tomorrow morning for the paid subscribers on TikTok, YouTube, and Discord. For the paid monthly subscribers at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. That's Washington, D.C. or New York City time. And then remember, Sunday, I'm doing my special show for the high rolling subscribers, $24.99 and up, Sunday at 11 a.m. Mods are invited. I mean, you don't have to come, but the mods are automatically invited to all of these. You have access. I think YouTube keeps you out, but Discord and TikTok give you access. We're not doing TikTok on Sunday, but Discord gives you access. So try to join us if you can, guys. And otherwise, I'm going to go chill, put on some more Grimm. Grimm's getting a little grim, I will say, but nonetheless, it's good. But getting a little heavy. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for joining us. We're in a good hour and a half here. And I'll see you guys, some of you tomorrow, some of you Sunday, rest of you next Monday. All right. Or this coming Monday. Thank you, Super Hornet. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Burp. And you all burp.